The biggest struggle we see is people seeing the letters MSP or MSSP and deciding it means what they think it means versus what the vendor defines themselves as. And I know it's a stupid thing to bring up, but it's really the biggest struggle we see, because we'll talk to folks and they'll say, no, I've got this thing from Carbon Black. They're the MSSP. And I'll pick on that as an example. We'll look at the solution they're having, and the expectation is there is someone running that system. They're thinking they have outsourced to humans, and it's just a fancy piece of software, and the expectation is there are humans running it. And so there's a naming clash that really makes people misunderstand the level of service that they're getting.
The level of remediation or the level of,
I'm going to say the level of service blanketly, whether it's inspection, remediation, what have you. We've actually dealt with 2 data centers right now that are a managed data center. They're supposed to be fully MSP, MSSP. They use all the buzzwords. They're managing all of that stuff. We go in and we do an assessment. We find out that I can actually sit on the domain controllers and freely hit, bad servers in China, Uzbekistan. You pick a country, we can hit it. We were able to transfer data back and forth. And when we go to them, the only answer that we get from those providers is, "Oh no, it's safe. Don't worry about it. We're the MSSP." It's like, well, what does that really mean? What are you giving me?
It's an anointing.
Yeah, they got a blessing and they're good to go. And a lot of the hacks we got are about that. And so where we see the biggest struggle is that designation. Is this person providing you a product, in which case they are not doing the mental effort to make sure you're safe. They're doing the low cost effort to make sure they don't get calls because their margin is very thin. That's why their cost is going down, versus an MSSP where they are providing a service, and the goal is to make sure those products work right. And so, for example, we're on the make sure the products work right point of view, but especially on the managed colo side and even the secure colo side as an example, they're selling a product. They're calling it a managed service, but it's really a managed service product, not a program.
It's good way to look at it as product versus program, because that's why we stopped using the word MSP and MSSP here, because it was like saying, again, someone's nice. It doesn't mean anything, because when you start looking at you almost don't want to be associated with that acronym. It takes you down a rat hole that you can't recover from. So we came up, because I think the program part is most important. That's what we call it, co-managed IT security, commits. I like that. Commits, commits is a good ring to it. But co-managed IT security, because we're partnered with that organization to deliver the support needed for that. And I think that from an analogy perspective, looking at security like a team, and your team, like in soccer, is made up of 11 players. If you're missing the right back, you're going to lose. But it doesn't mean you have to have, it could be, you could steal that right back from another team that you're going onto the game day and you're down a person and you recruit someone to fill in. They're essentially filling in for a period of time. Or you can go try to bring someone onto the team that's a permanent member. But either way, you got to have a right back. And I think that's the point we're at from MSP versus, it's not even on this list, but I think it is a stumbling point.
With all of those things, whether it's SIEM or MFA, or we'll talk to someone who's got MFA with, let's say, Duo, and then it turns out they never secured the Microsoft side of the fence. And so they have this wonderful MFA protection going in, but you're freely able to back end it from the other side, because what was good 5 years ago is not how the world works today, and they haven't redeployed it to be today's version.
Because Azure moves fast. They're upgrading constantly. They're not moving. Their upgrade cycles are weekly. But I was looking back at the notes from December and January, fully expecting this year was going to be the year of SIEM. We had five, six opportunities on the SIEM side that a lot of CIOs and their teams were trying to figure this out. So, and then all of a sudden, whammo, the COVID hit. And it's amazing how much people don't want to talk about SIEMs in the midst of a pandemic. But it also forces the other question is, do we need one? Because if we're blocking everything and we just need basic reporting,